The observation deck of the Meridian Dawn hummed with the gentle thrum of quantum engines as Lewis stood before the panoramic viewport, watching the copper-hued planet rotate below. 3 years into the first contact mission, and he still wasn't used to the weight of what they'd accomplished, or the complexity of what they'd discovered. "You're thinking too loud again," came a voice behind him, melodic yet alien in its harmonics. Lewis turned to find Shara standing in the doorway, her bioluminescent patterns dimmed in the low light. The Ythrani diplomat was tall, nearly 7 feet, with skin that shifted between deep purple and midnight blue depending on her emotions. Her forearms moved with unconscious grace, and her large reflective eyes caught the starlight like mirrors. "Just processing today's negotiations," Lewis said, gesturing for her to join him. "The council's still resistant to the cultural exchange program." Shara moved to stand beside him, careful to maintain the respectful distance her people considered proper. "Your colleague Anna made progress with the Centauri delegation. She has a gift for diplomacy." "She does," Lewis agreed. Anna had been instrumental in bridging the communication gaps between species, her linguistic expertise and empathy opening doors that had seemed permanently sealed. They stood in companionable silence, watching the stars. Over the months of negotiations, Lewis and Shara had developed an unlikely friendship, one that transcended species and culture. She had taught him about Ythrani philosophy, their poetry, their mathematical concepts that human minds struggled to grasp. He had shared human literature, music, and the chaotic beauty of Earth's history. "Lewis," Shara said softly, her bioluminescence flickering in a pattern he'd learned to recognize as uncertainty. "May I ask you something personal?" "Of course." She was quiet for a long moment, her secondary arms wrapping around herself in a gesture that seemed almost human in its vulnerability. "I've been observing human interactions. Your entertainment media, your social structures, your beauty standards." Lewis felt his stomach tighten, sensing where this might be going. "I'm not beautiful like human women," she whispered, her voice carrying harmonics of sadness that the translator couldn't quite capture. "I see how your people look at Anna, with admiration, attraction. I see your species art, your depictions of beauty, symmetrical faces, soft features, small stature. I am none of those things." Lewis turned to face her fully, seeing the genuine pain in her luminous eyes. In 3 years of diplomatic service, he'd witnessed many things, but the vulnerability of this moment struck him deeply. Here was a being from a civilization that had mastered interstellar travel millennia before humans left Earth's atmosphere, yet she was expressing the same insecurity he'd heard from countless people back home. He smiled, not with pity but with genuine warmth. "You've got 2 big things they don't." Shara's patterns flickered with confusion. "I don't understand." "Context and perspective," Lewis said firmly. "Shara, you're looking at beauty through a human lens, judging yourself by standards that were never meant for you. That's the first thing you have that many humans lack, the ability to see beyond your own cultural framework. You're trying to understand us so deeply that you're applying our limitations to yourself." He gestured toward the viewport, toward the infinite expanse of stars. "Look out there. Millions of species, billions of worlds, each with their own definition of beauty, grace, and worth. On your homeworld, you told me once that the most beautiful Ythrani have bioluminescent patterns that can display 17 different emotional harmonics simultaneously. That's something no human could ever achieve, and it's breathtaking." Shara's patterns began to shift, cycling through colors that indicated contemplation mixed with hope. "And the second thing?" she asked quietly. "Courage," Lewis said. "The courage to be vulnerable, to admit uncertainty, to stand here and express a fear that transcends species. Do you know how many humans can't do that? How many of us hide behind masks and pretense, terrified to show weakness?" He took a step closer, still respecting her space but closing the gap between diplomat and friend. "When I look at you, Shara, I don't see someone who fails to meet human beauty standards. I see someone brilliant who taught me that mathematics can be musical. I see someone who sat with me for 6 hours while I grieved for my father, even though your people don't experience death the way we do, because you wanted to understand and support me. I see someone whose bioluminescence creates patterns of such complexity that they've inspired our artists to create entirely new forms of expression." Shara's forearms relaxed, her patterns shifting to the warm amber that indicated deep emotion and gratitude. "Beauty isn't a universal constant," Lewis continued. It's not a single frequency that all beings must resonate with. It's a spectrum, as varied as the stars themselves. And you, Shara, are beautiful in ways that human standards can't even measure, because you're not human, and that's exactly as it should be. A single tear, iridescent and prismatic, rolled down Shara's face. Your species has a saying, she said, her voice steadier now. About walking in another's shoes? We do. I think I've been trying to walk in shoes that don't fit my feet, she said, a sound emerging that Lewis had learned was Ithrani laughter. Perhaps I should be grateful that I have 4 feet and find my own path to walk. Lewis smiled. Now you're thinking like a human, learning from us but not losing yourself in the process. They stood together as Anna's voice came through the comm system, calling them to the next diplomatic session. As they walked toward the conference room, Shara's patterns glowed with renewed confidence, and Lewis felt a profound sense of gratitude for the universe's diversity. In that moment, he understood that true beauty wasn't about conforming to any single standard. It was about the courage to exist authentically, in whatever form that took, across the infinite tapestry of existence.